All right, what is going on, A to Z Sports? We are live. It is a Wednesday. Easton is here now after another back-to-back late days, Easton. I let the chat know. I had to tell on you.
That's hand up on me. It's all right. We'll be better. We'll watch the
That's
tape. We'll review.
that's the accountability we were looking for. Now we just need to see some improvement
That's fine.
tomorrow. Got a great show today. Got a kind of a really interesting show today as Easton and I break down everything that happened with the Tennessee Titans yesterday. And while the team didn't make a ton of moves yesterday, there is a lot to discuss. It was the lack of moves, I think, that caught the attention of Titans fans, with a number of players departing, fan favorites being shown the door, and a total rebuild being signified by the Tennessee Titans. We'll talk about each of these moves individually. Do we like it for the Titans moving forward? What does it mean for the team? And are they better or worse in free agency? After free agency, I guess, than they were before free agency after a 3-14 finish. A lot to get to before we jump into it. Easton, tell the folks what to do.
Gotta like the show this morning. Gotta help us out. You know the drill. When it's Sam and I, we have a like quota we have to hit. So on Facebook, on YouTube, hit that like button. As King VC says, lock in, like the show, and leave a 5-star review. It's super easy to be a friend of the show this morning. Do those things, and we will get off and rolling with some very interesting free agency discussion. As Sam alluded to, a couple of guys that you know and love out the door. New era in Tennessee. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We're going to discuss it all this morning, but not until you like the show.
Like it, share it, leave that 5-star review, and let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, live on a Wednesday morning and every weekday morning at 8 Central Time, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links are tweeted out segment by segment on that Twitter X timeline at ATOZ Sports is where you can find us there and share that. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok for more Titans coverage, and leave a 5-star Google review for A to Z Sports as well. Helps more than you know. Got to thank our sponsors this morning. They make it happen for us while helping out all of you. They are Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon or at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Boneandjointtn.org is where to go to schedule your appointment. And our friends at Bart Durham Injury Law, because a crash can change your life forever, and help is just a click away at bartdurham.com. Okay, Easton, today is a day of mourning, I think, for Titans fans, because yesterday was a bit of a surprise for a lot of Titans fans. We talked on this show yesterday about a guy in Nick Westbrook-Akine and whether or not the Titans were going to bring him back, and we figured they had a number in mind for NWI and they would match that number. And, not to jump right in and get off to the lead here, but I think very surprising that they did not. And what we did not see coming was that it was not just NWI and guys that were imminent free agents, but guys that we assumed would be back because the Titans had control of their contract in a Ryan Stonehouse or a Jack Gibbons, and this slew of moves that is made that leaves a lot of Titans fans questioning what the plan is for 2025. So it started with, it started with the most unexpected news of the day, which was Ryan Stonehouse tweeting, "Thank you, Nashville. Thank you for the relationships he had made," signaling the end of his time with the Titans. This is after a report had come out that his agent had said the Titans were going to be moving in a different direction. And just minutes later, the Titans agreed to a contract with 4-time All-Pro punter Johnny Hecker. And it was confirmed Bones Fossil was reuniting with Johnny Hecker, Ryan Stonehouse out in Tennessee. Stonehouse confirmed that news. We talked to some people within the building, both on the Stonehouse camp and the Titans camp, about why exactly this move happened. But I think this took a lot of Titans fans by surprise, and it didn't help that, what was it, an hour later, Nick Westbrook-Akine signed a contract, a 2-year, $6.5 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. And this also, here's a fun early question for you. More surprised at the figure Nick Westbrook-Akine got, or that the Titans were letting go of Stonehouse?
Man, that's tricky. Honestly, I think I was more surprised by the figure just because I was on the record, which I forbid anyone going back and finding out how much I thought NWI was going to get. You're not allowed to.
Double digit mill.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
No. So
I said
stop.
that as well. So
Yeah, I know.
I'll
But
own it with
people
you.
are not allowed to go back and look. We're going to erase that from the internet. So yeah, I was shocked. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but I think that was the thing. And they were both shocking. I tweeted about how this Stonehouse move was pretty surprising. I had a lot of people in the comments like, is it really that shocking? Yeah, it really is that shocking. I think that some folks are. Yeah, this time of year is the. It's funny, right? It is the heaviest cope time of the year for every fan base, for every fan.
I love this take.
You talk yourself in, you talk yourself out, no matter what. The intellectual consistency is just out the window entirely. The honesty is out the window entirely. Anyway. Right. A guy's not here, he's a bum. A guy is here who was a bum, no longer a bum. So it's it's just one of those where it's like, well, but was it really surprising that he's gone? If you really think about it, we're going to talk about why he's gone, and there are reasons. It's not out of totally nowhere. But
Chris says we got an all-pro punter, and I had to clarify this on primetime last night. Johnny Hekker was an all-pro punter 8 years ago.
He still got it.
Like
8 years.
The tweet where
we're all basically the same person we were 8 years ago.
This
right?
Tweet of 4-time all-pro punter Johnny Hekker. No lies told there by Adam Schefter, but all 4 of those all-pros are before 2017. So
here's another take about this time of year, Sam. The way that they lead that, pull that back up. The way that they lead 4-time all-pro punter. I forget who it is, but there's a tweet that I save and use on occasion. Somebody said, whenever this time of year you get an announcement tweet, like a news tweet that starts with former first-round pick, the player in question is turbo garbage.
Yeah.
And that's I'm not saying
with former first-round pick Cleveland Farrell on a
right, exactly. Nice. Former first-round pick Andre Dillard. It's like, okay, so he blows because we have to clarify that he was a former first-round pick. I'm not saying that Johnny Hekker is garbage by any means. I think he'll be a fine punter. Like I think he's fine.
Yes.
But it is funny, the whole lead with 4-time All-Pro, and that was 8 years ago.
He is not the best punter in the league, All-Pro that he was when he was back with the Rams under Bones Fossil back in 2016, 2017. He's also older. And so I don't want to spend this entire show with some punt talk and debating punts. But, it was a shocking move for the reason that, like, when the Titans let Brett Kern go, it was under this idea that Ryan Stonehouse had shown so much promise. He was young, he was controllable, he was going to be here for hopefully 10 years, is what the future showed for Ryan Stonehouse. And, I caught up with Stonehouse a little bit yesterday. He was just as surprised by this as I think a lot of Titans fans were. He did not expect to not be here. He thought he would be back in 2025. The Titans didn't even make an offer to Ryan Stonehouse. The tender offer that they would have had to give him is more money than he probably would have even been willing to accept. Like, you could have offered him a lower contract to return, and I think he would have. But the Titans not even interested, full blindside of Stonehouse. Then the fan base also blindsided by the fact that NWI only gets $3.2 million per year, and the Titans say, nah, we're good. And this one, I think, extra shocking, Easton, because, Johnny Hekker happened.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Stonehouse was gone. You said, what the heck? And then you saw the solution immediately of, okay, Johnny Hekker, you can disagree with it, but Bones Fossil had Johnny Hekker. This is the guy. They got a guy that they think is better. Fine. We talked yesterday that we didn't know what the answer was at wide receiver for the Titans. Mm-hmm. And a guy that and a guy that was productive for you is going for $3.2 million per year, and you just turned your nose up at it. That was really surprising to me as well, that a team that...
Are we sure they turned their nose up at it, though?
I guess there have been conflicting reports, I suppose, but
I don't know. Have there been conflicting reports?
I have seen people reporting that the Titans didn't even offer Nick Westbrook-Ikhine a contract.
That is I can report that's untrue. The Titans were interested, and they did.
So this is the question, right? Like, if the Titans made him an offer and he didn't want to be here and he chose to go elsewhere and maybe even took less money to go elsewhere, then what can you do? But
right. So that's what I want to ask. And that's the question, that, because you're right, it doesn't make sense. And those of us who thought he was going to make way more money, it makes super not sense to us. And there's an element of us just being dumb and probably overvaluing him. And at the end of the day, he's still a wide receiver 4. I think this free agency, you've seen a pretty clear market for. If you're a wide receiver 3, a 2, a 3, or a 4, it goes from like 15 to 18 million
no, it
to
makes
9
no
to 10
sense.
million down to 3 to 5 million.
The receiver market makes no sense because like I like
don't think
De'Ami
so.
Brown. I'm bullish on De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown got $10 million per year, but I don't understand the world of De'Ami Brown getting $10 million per year while Demarcus Robinson gets 4.7 and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine gets 3.2. Like that is peculiar to me.
It's because Robinson and NWI are wide receiver 4s who are going to play teams, and De'Ami Brown is a 3 who brings explosives. That's how the teams categorize them. And so that's the tiers they're shopping in. And that's why De'Ami Brown and Tutu Atwell are getting in the 10 range, and these other guys are getting in the 3 to 5 range. And again, I would have paid NWI more. That's, I guess, maybe why I'm not a GM. But it was such a strange situation, especially like you said, given the state of the wide receiver room around here. It's not like they had it's not like they currently have a lot of options.
Well, that was my
and so just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question to me is, because it's confusing, one of two things happened. Either they offered him, he got a better deal from the Dolphins, and the Titans refused to beat that deal, or they offered him, the Dolphins gave him a better offer, and NWI said, I'm taking the Dolphins offer. No, thank you. I'd like to leave.
But even then, right? Like, I guess my question for just to put out there, right, is like, why not give him a better offer than what the Dolphins gave him?
Sure.
Like why? And that is my question, right? I've never been tied to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine of like, oh, he has to be here. Mm-hmm. I actually think you could make an argument for some of the other receivers as better fits for the Titans in general.
By the way,
so yeah, I think that makes total sense, and I probably would agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, a team that has nobody outside of Calvin Ridley at this position, like you have cap space. Mike Borgonzi has said cap space isn't really a concern.
Correct.
Like they're fine on that front. So why not grab $5 million per year to bring Nick Westbrook-Ikhine back?
That's my point, right? Is that if they offered him 3.
Oh, audio cut out.
Titans didn't come back. Hello? You got me now?
Oh.
You're Hello.
You're back.
Hello?
You're back. Wow, that was scary.
Okay.
Okay,
so yeah, if the Titans offered him 3 and then the Dolphins offered him 3.5, I find it hard to believe personally that the Titans didn't say or weren't willing to then say, because what's the difference between 3 and 4, right? It's all chump change at this point in the NFL. I find it hard to believe that they weren't willing to say, okay, 4. I seriously question whether or not he said, oh, look, a better deal from another team. Thanks for your time. Because that makes more sense to me than the Titans being like, well, we'd give him 3, but 4 is a step too far when we have no receivers. I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a possibility. And I think you're right. Like it only
could you blame him for wanting to leave, by the way?
No, gosh, no.
So
I mean, it's not like Nick Westbrook-Ikhine he's a guy who like needs to go get his numbers, right? Like that's not really his MO, nor like the trajectory that his career has been on. He's on a 2-year deal, so he's going to get a nice little payday this year and next year, hopefully for him. Gets a good figure of guaranteed money. He gets to go live in Miami. He's young, recently married. You go live in Miami. Go have some fun with your wife in Miami. I feel like that's a great spot to be. Go enjoy the weather and play for a more competitive team. There is a lot of attractive things about the Dolphins that dealing with another year of rebuilding Tennessee Titans football is not attractive to a guy like Nick Westbrook-Ikhine right now. And I think that's totally reasonable. And if that's what it is, that's what it is, right? We knew that the Titans were going to have to pay the suck tax on some dudes to get them to be here and to get them.
They're having to pay the suck tax on everybody. That's a common theme here that I think is It's what I've been thinking about a lot in the last 24 hours since we were on the show. Is just that with a lot, we see these guys getting signed around the league, and guys that we thought the Titans might be in on, guys that reportedly we know the Titans were in on and lost out on. And this is the way that it works. And I had a conversation with somebody in the building last night about this. And I think it's important to keep in mind that when you are at the bottom of the totem pole in the NFL this time of year, you are used as the whipping post, right? You're the whipping boy when it comes to contract. Like teams, agents, and players really are using you just to leverage more money with other teams. Absolutely. And so they'll string you along and they'll say, yeah, we're interested. And it's you and another team. We're see who has the better offer. What they're really doing is just coming to you, asking for you to commit to more money so that they can go back to the team they want to play for and say, oh, well, the Titans are going to give me this. So I'd love to be here. So you got to beat it. And so what happens, and this is what the person's point in the building was to me, and it's an important point, is that you have two choices when you're the whipping post team. You can either get tilted and spend too much money, or you can stick to your principles, stick to your numbers, and lose out on a lot of guys. And their point was the way that teams at the bottom, who are regularly at the bottom, tend to stay at the bottom is they get that little inferiority complex. They get frustrated that these players and agents are obviously doing this to them. They say, you know what? Screw it. Fine. We'll give you an offer that you can't. No one will beat it. And so you'll have to come here because at the end of the day, money is what drives these guys. And then they overpay for players that aren't worth the money they're giving them. And then their cap is in bad shape. And then they stay bad forever and ever and ever. Mm-hmm. So that's what the Titans are trying to avoid. And we know that Brinker and Borgonzi and these guys are disciplined, patient, numbers-oriented guys. They have numbers on these guys. They're not willing to, I think fall into that pattern, that cycle. And so it means that they're losing out on a lot of guys, I think, that they were in on, and that's just the way that it has to go when you're at the bottom.
But here's where it's interesting. Dan Moore. Because you overpaid the hell out of Dan Moore.
It is interesting, right?
And so, why do you care about overpaying and panicking and you got tilted for using that word, right? Mm-hmm. At left tackle instead of going for a different guy that was, a tier below or, right? What's the difference between that premium? I understand how pivotal offensive tackle is, but I was talking about this last night on Primetime. Dan Moore at left tackle can help a rookie quarterback. Absolutely. J.C. Latham at right tackle can help a rookie quarterback. Bryce Oliver as a wide receiver too definitely does not. Receivers that don't separate and not having playmakers is maybe not quite as, but almost as debilitating to a young quarterback not having an offense around him as bad offensive line play is. And so I understood when they overpaid Dan Moore, this idea of you are overpaying for an average offensive tackle because it is that important to you to have some competence around your young quarterback. But then it feels like the Titans are not keeping that same consistency at a wide receiver or at some of these other positions. And that is where I get a little bit confused, I suppose, is we have these words below me, total rebuild. And I think the whole day yesterday signaled they are tearing this thing to the studs. They are absolutely breaking it down where we didn't even talk about this guy. I was so confused that Jack Gibbons.
We got a Titans deal across the board right now, by the way. The Titans are finalizing a 1-year deal worth up to $2.5 million with former Steelers wide receiver and local Ravenwood legend Van Jefferson.
All right. Give me this one because 2 days ago on A2ZSports.com, I wrote an article and I said one of these 3 wide receivers will sign with the Titans. It was Josh Palmer, De'Ami Brown, and Van Jefferson. Bang. I was right.
Nailed it.
Look at me.
Well done.
Hey.
So back to what we were saying. I'm with you that it's confusing, and I have my own theories on it. To me, it basically boils down. But before I give my thought on it, I have a list of questions for when we can eventually talk to these guys about these moves, and that's at the top. Is what philosophically right dictates that decision when you have a pretty clear philosophy that you're abiding by on all the other guys, but with this one, you chose to break that mold. And the reason that I think that they do it is that again, they're having to pay the suck tax on everybody that they want, everybody. And so if they want anybody, they're going to have to overpay. And I think to them, they're deciding, well, if we're going to have to overpay for anybody we get, what positions are we willing to actually like, where is it somewhat okay to overpay?
Where's the priority of we have to get a guy
Right.
here? And for them, it
And I
was
think,
tackle.
well, and I think, yeah, but just in general, I think generally, if you have to overpay somewhere, do it in the trenches, right? It's okay to spend a little bit too much on the trenches. It's much better historically to overpay in the trenches than it is on a wide receiver or a quarterback that isn't a franchise guy, right? Or a cornerback who may be injured and miss a lot of the year. So I think that's the calculus they did, and I think also what they're doing at the first overall pick informs that, right? Because protecting a guy is first and foremost. I mean, listen, I'm writing about this later today. I think either today or tomorrow. We've talked so much about how it's the Commanders model last year. That's what the Titans, they like what the Commanders did. They want to be similar to that, right? We've talked about that a lot. I went back and looked at their day one depth chart at receiver last year, right? It was Terry McLaurin, who's a stud. And then it was Olamide Zaccheaus, De'Ami Brown, Jamison Crowder, KJ Osborne, and Luke McCaffrey.
Yeah.
So
they did that same, they get a bunch of mercenaries and,
this is what the Titans room's going to look like when we're said and done. It's going to be something like this with we're like, okay, Calvin's a good player.
I quite literally think one of those guys could end up in the Titans room where it's like a Noah Brown or a Olamide Zaccheaus ends up with the Titans.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And one of those guys, just to get this off the table now, because I'm not sure we're going to get back to it. We lose, NWI no longer here. The Titans have to look elsewhere. I'm going to take the take that we've been talking about since the beginning, since last August, we've been talking about this. And it's been mostly a bit until now. I'm going to change it from a bit to I'm now dead serious about it. The Bryce Oliver agenda starts now. Bryce Oliver has every ability to be more athletic NWI. He does. I'm not joking about it anymore. Like, it was funny.
Yeah.
We were talking about it like in the future, but I'm stoked to see him this offseason to see if he takes a leap, because he has the ability to be that caliber of player, and he is a better athlete than NWI is. He moves better than he does. So I
think Bryce Oliver is all but a lock to make the team, in 2025. Like,
he's got to be feeling great right now.
He's got what he showed really on special teams last year at the end of the year, like capable gunner. Had some flashes as an actual wide receiver. And I think if he's your wide receiver 4 or 5 or whatever, there's going to be some opportunities for him to work in on offense. And that is the trajectory that you hope he is on. I mean, the Titans, what does Colton Dowell look like, right? Is he your NWI this year? I don't know. It's ugly, Titans fans. It is ugly. Don't hear us saying that this is not ugly if Van Jefferson is your wide receiver 2 or 3, and you've got Bryce Oliver and Colton Dowell. Like, it's ugly, but that is, I think, what they are going for is this idea of like a full tank rebuild. And then I guess this is all under the assumption. I know Buck Rising has been a little bit tilted himself about the idea of Carson Wentz being targeted by the Titans. Can I say,
silly to me? Who cares?
I don't care.
I don't care even a little bit. I think he's being a diva.
I would care.
Shocking, the Bucks being a diva.
I would care if Carson Wentz and Will Levis were the two
right
quarterbacks.
Sure. Yeah,
but I would assume that Carson Wentz is being signed as a backup quarterback for Cam Ward, or who they would plan to take with the first overall pick. And by the way, Carson Wentz was the backup for Patrick Mahomes last year in Kansas City with Mike Borgonzi. So, like, I think as a backup, it's fine. It's a fine competition for Levis for that backup job. If you're Brian Callahan and this coaching staff, it does put you in a situation to fail. But having Cam Ward, assuming you do go get Cam Ward, can be your one saving grace. Of like, what can you show with Cam Ward as a rookie, where even if the roster around him sucks and the record might be bad and ugly, what can you do with the rookie quarterback? That would be like the path, which I think is a good path to have. But I do think here's an interesting question that I want to get to, Easton, because I talked about this very briefly, or at least had it asked to me on A to Z Primetime yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Because what have we heard about the Titans so far? It's losing like, again, we didn't talk about this. We got sidetracked with a move coming across the board. But this one was also puzzling to me. Jack Gibbons, just like letting him walk. Because is he the bet? Yeah, it was. It was.
I mean, like I personally would have given him an offer, but I'm not super shocked that they like.
But like
all of those guys in the linebacker room are kind of the same guy. Like he was
I don't
a
think
useful
I
player
don't know
at
if they
times.
are. I mean, Jack Gibbons, I think, is significantly better than all of the other guys you have in that room, at least in terms of what he is now, right? Like you can feel so however you want to feel about how James Williams can develop, or maybe
That's
that, like,
fine.
you use the big pick on Cedric Gray, but Jack Gibbons has been a good run stopping linebacker for you. He has struggled in coverage. But to me, when it's a position of weakness, linebacker is a position of weakness for the Titans, where they need not just starters there, but they need depth there. To give away depth for free when he would otherwise be making next to nothing is a surprising decision from the Titans in my eyes.
I get it. And again, I would have offered him a deal. To me, I think they look at it and they say, okay, we have 2 starters. We have 2 rookie backups that we are expecting to make a leap next year in James Williams and Cedric Gray. We want those guys to be the 3 and the 4 at worst. And then haven't they signed one other guy at linebacker?
Barton?
Am I making that up? No. Like one of the guys that they already had. Didn't they re-sign one of those guys? Maybe I'm making that up. I forget.
I think you're making that up.
Smaller list of guys, but either way, I'd imagine they probably sign one more guy, and then they have 5 linebackers, and that's their. But I think to them, outside of the 2 starters, they got Kenneth Murray, they got Barton. Those guys are the guys they're paying to start. They got the rookies who they want to become starters eventually. Whoever they're paying as their 5th linebacker needs to be a 5th linebacker, and I don't think that they see Jack Gibbons as somebody.
They paid Otis. They brought Otis.
Okay, so that's yeah. So they've got 5 guys. Like those are their guys. They don't need a 6th guy to pay. Like because Jack Gibbons, to your point, he deserves more money than the linebacker.
Better than
5 and
Reese
6
Williams
money.
and Gray.
Well, with Williams and Gray, they're free. They're on the roster already. They're not free agents, and the expectation is that they are going to, in short order, become better than Gibby. That's the point. It may not work, but like that's the idea, right?
Relative. I mean, they're making minimum, but like
they're already on your books. Like they are making no money. They're already on your books. You're not having to re-sign them to any amount of money. Is my point. Like they're a baked in cost right now.
Sure. I mean, it's $1 million difference or whatever, but because like you can cut them and save that money, like and not pay them. Their deals aren't guaranteed at all.
Yeah, but they're rookies who have promise. Like you're with Jack Gibbons again. I'm not trying to put down Jack Gibbons. He is what he is at this point in his career, right? I think he is a far more finished product as a linebacker than these other 2 rookies are. And so the expectation is that those guys are going to either develop into better players than Jack Gibbons in short order, which the team believes that they can, at least one of them, or they'll continue to churn to the position. But I think maybe to a larger point here, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, I think it's indicative of this idea that they are tearing it down to the studs. They're saying we want to just no hard feelings, nothing personal. We want to start over with this thing, man. And these guys that have kind of hung around, these names and faces who are lower tier role players, it's time to start fresh.
Well, let me ask this question because I find this interesting as they've started to tear it down. So Harold Landry, gone, cut, signed by the Patriots. Nick Westbrook-Ikine, gone, signed with the Dolphins. Luke Gifford, gone. He signed with the 49ers as a key special teamer for the Titans. Then you have guys like Jack Gibbons who are expected to leave. There's a handful of other guys that are not being retained or brought back. Of course, over the course of the year as well, you saw DeAndre Hopkins head elsewhere. You saw now Quandre Diggs is gone with Xavier Woods coming in. So there's been a lot of changing of the guard for the Titans at some of these positions.
Can we say Diggs is for sure? I mean, they may bring him back.
Yeah. He wants to play, I'd imagine.
Well, a third safety is going to play.
Probably. Yeah. I'd be surprised if Diggs was back with the Woods contract.
Well, they need somebody like Diggs for third guy. So if not Diggs, somebody else.
As of right now, Diggs is not here. And I want to ask this question. As of right now, are the Titans better or worse? Have they gotten better or worse in free agency than what they were last season. 3-14 at the end of the year. Have they gotten better or worse? I do think
Low
this is
bar.
a legitimate, yes, low bar. And I think
Low
this is
bar.
an interesting question, which says
Right.
something. Chat, sound off in the chat. Let me know what you think. Have the Titans improved or have they gotten worse? And while you guys do that, I'm going to tell you all about my friends over at Bart Durham and Bart Durham Injury Law. I can never find our friends at Bart Durham here on my little thing. There he is. Look at Blair, looking all sharp. You deserve to be paid. Bart Durham Injury Law can help you get paid. Your big truck wreck is their fight for justice, and a crash can change your life forever. It's why Bart Durham Injury Law is here to help and only a phone call away. You can reach the Bart Durham team 24/7 to get your legal questions answered. 615-242-9000. Again, you deserve to be paid. Their attorneys are available to meet with you wherever is most convenient, including virtually. Visit the website at bartdurham.com for news, blogs, and to contact or live chat. This is why they've been in business since 1975. Years of experience dealing with all kinds of wrecks. So help, one call, one click away. Bart Durham Injury Law.
There's so much more to say, but first, make sure you are leaving 5-star Google reviews on the A to Z Sports Google entity, the business that you find on there. You search A to Z Sports in Google, you find A to Z Sports, you hit review, you'll hit that 5th star on the right side. And then you say whatever the heck you want. Give us your constructive criticism. Tell us about your day. I don't care what you say. All I care about is that 5th star. It's very helpful to us, our Google traffic as a company. If you want to help out, that's a massive way that you can do it. So leave a 5-star Google review for A to Z Sports.
All right, Easton, have the Titans gotten better or worse in free agency? What are you seeing from the chat here on a Wednesday morning?
I am seeing some disagreement from the chat this morning. Let me scroll back up to the top here. Some strong opinions as well. Caps says worse in all caps. Titans Kyle agrees. Definitely worse. William, worse. No wide receivers. American Toff, well, look, actually, just a lot of worses to start. Worse, 100% worse. Vanessa thinks they have gotten better, as does hashtag QJ. I knew I saw some betters in here. But you know what? Worse. Curtis says better because of the Van Jefferson news. They just got better in the middle of the show. Daniel says
that's
anything
fun.
Is better than
a 1 year $3 million deal or whatever made, like, now the team's better, but before
that
it
tipped
was
the
worse.
scale. 100%. Yep. That is what did it. Worse so far, says Ashley. Better, says Waxy G. Grady pointing out it is March 12th, which is important. But you know what? The majority, I'd say 60, 70%, if not more, maybe 75% of folks think that the Titans are worse, at least so far.
What do you think?
No, what do I think?
Oh, I was going to ask you.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'll go first. You can tell I don't have a super strong opinion on it because I don't think it's like super clear right now. And my main point is that, yes, it is March 12th. I would say better just because I'm baking in the quarterback that I'm expecting to be on the team. Like, I think right now, he says who? I'm making the rules here. And yeah, I mean, what? Fine.
Yeah.
The point is, if you can bake in that quarterback, they're better because
in free agency,
here's my thing, man. Again, I talked all year about the 3 positions they had to get better at, and they spent a lot of money to get demonstrably better at one of those positions. They are way better suited at tackle on both sides now than they were. That's a big deal. And that's really the only big change that's happened. Because even the guys they've let go, like letting Ryan Stonehouse go, for whatever we think about that, that's Vegas is not moving the number on that. Yeah, Vegas is not moving the number on NWI being here or not being here, or Jack Gibbons being here or not being here.
This 3-14 team at a position like wide receiver came in with Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine in 2024.
End of the year or beginning of the year? What
Tyler Boyd at the end of the year. Tyler Boyd, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine,
so
and
just
Calvin
Tyler
Ridley
Boyd and Calvin.
And Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and now you're sitting there with Van Jefferson. And so, like, you got worse weapons. You got worse weapons.
You do.
You have not added or improved at quarterback whatsoever. Your linebacker position, I think, is sort of
you have improved.
Net neutral.
You have improved. That's crazy. Hard to disagree.
mean,
I think the math here is they've gotten worse at receiver. They have gotten better at safety, linebacker, and right tackle. That's what it is to me. They've gotten better at right tackle, linebacker, safety, 3 of the biggest positions of need.
But the linebacker position is so marginal. Like, it is so small.
I really disagree with you on that.
You think Barton is really that guy?
I think he's a full tier better than. I think he's a full tier better. Yeah, 100%. I think what he offers you as I think he's a comparable run defender. They're both very good at that, and I think he's going to offer you much better. Just from
you also technically
he's clearly a more instinctual player in coverage. Sorry,
so as you lost your right guard as well as of right now. Like you upgraded at tackle and have not and lost the right guard that you had starting. You've downgraded significantly at wide receiver as of right now. I mean,
so you're worse at receiver, you're worse at right guard, but you're better at linebacker, safety, and right tackle. That's still better to me.
Do you think how much better do you think Xavier Woods is than Quandre Diggs?
Well, you didn't finish the year with him.
He was on the team though. He was hurt, but like he was on the team.
Yeah, but as soon as he got hurt and was out for the year, you lost him.
But it's about what you lost. No, it's about what you lost. It's about what was on your team in 2020.
So you're thinking about guys that were on the roster on IR at the end of the year. I'm thinking about who was playing. Well, I mean,
if you're going to do the team that was playing in week 18 versus right now, they're significantly better because
week 13, he still wasn't around. Do week 13, he still was out. Like he's been gone forever.
I'm doing guys that were on the roster last year that when the team went 3-14 that are no longer on the roster this year. And the amount of talent
then. That is different.
Not necessarily
to answer your question that I'm dancing around. No, I don't think Xavier Woods is better than Quandre Diggs. So I think he's way worse. No, I don't. I think that it's a half step down probably from Quandre Diggs. But to me, again, it was a massive need that you have addressed.
Mm-hmm.
What? You good?
Chat's rattling me a little bit here. I'm getting a little tilted.
This happens once in a while. Sam gets hot. You guys get him going.
Yeah,
Are they agreeing with me too much? Is that what's bothering you so much?
No, it's a lack of let's understand what we're saying. I don't think it's a big leap in logic to say players that were under contract with the Titans at the end of 2024 that are no longer under contract with the Titans. DeAndre Hopkins, losing him does not count. Fair. You traded him mid-season. So that is I mean, granted,
that's fine if you want to look at it that way. I'm just saying that's not the way that I was looking at it.
But is that not what it is? Like players that you lost.
I hear you.
Players that are going out versus players that are coming in. I mean, any team, if you ever look at any roster, almost ever, if you look at the guys that are playing in like week 17 and 18 versus the guys that are playing in week 1, the week 1 roster is a little bit bolstered because you've got injuries and all of the stuff that happens over the course of a year. Like you also didn't have Jeffrey Simmons playing at the end of the year all the time because he was banged up and you had James Lynch rotating in there. Like, so in all of those ways, the Titans are a better team, but when you look at the contracts that they had, right? Tyler Boyd gone, Nick Westbrook-Akine gone, Quandre Diggs gone, Dylan Radin's gone. Like there's a lot of pieces that have departed. And that is where I'm asking, have they improved or declined on paper from those contracts?
And that's fine. So if we're looking at it that way,
people that were injured count. Hey, Wax G219. Keep Wax G. People that were injured count. If you lose somebody that was hurt at the end of the year. So does Jeffrey Simmons count? Did the Titans gain Jeffrey Simmons this offseason? Are we going to celebrate? Hey, hold on. Mike Borgonzi, Executive of the Year. Executive of the Year, Mike Borgonzi. He picked up Jeffrey Simmons this offseason. What a job. What a job by Borgo. Adding to the trenches. No. He was under contract. Just because he was hurt doesn't mean it's an addition. But if you lose a guy that's hurt, it's still a subtraction from your team. Be better.
All right. So
Thoughts?
if that's the way we're looking at it, then I would say they've gotten worse at wide receiver and right guard, and they have gotten better at right tackle and linebacker. So I would, it's kind of a wash. I'd lean they're slightly better, but the point is the point is it's March 12th. That's the point.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of moves to come.
I
So
think
right
that's
now
fair.
I'd say it's a wash right now.
I think
Which
I
isn't
think
the
March
point of the
12th
question,
is.
but
Yeah, no, that's not the point of the question, but I would agree, right? Like you cannot judge an offseason based off of 3 days in March. I think that's absolutely fair to say. But the point of the question, the reason why I ask the question is because I do think it illustrates what I think Titans fans need to understand, which is this team is not going to be much better in 2025. Can they win more games? Yeah. Will they be improved? Maybe. But there is no urgency to improve the roster by the Titans. In fact, there is a deliberate effort to tear it down and get young. So they're not worried about making this
I don't know.
roster
I
competitive.
really
No,
disagree.
Easton, if they cared about being competitive, they wouldn't be getting
Well,
rid of
no. You
Jack
just changed
Gibbens
the
for the
word.
sake
You
of.
just changed the word to competitive. What you said was there's clearly no urgency to make this team better. What are they
I
doing
agree.
if they're
I
not trying
think
to make the
that's
team
true.
better?
I think they're trying.
I think you're crazy.
I think they're
I
tearing it
think you're
down to the
crazy.
studs. I think they're tearing it down to the studs.
In an effort to make the team better. In order to
Which is
rebuild,
that,
you have to tear down first.
rebuilding is making your team worse to get better in the long run, which is what they're doing. They obviously would like to improve over the long haul, but I don't think there is an
They'd like to
urgency for this
improve this
Titans team
year.
to be like,
I think
sure.
I think this is going to age very poorly in about 2 or 3 weeks. Because listen, I tweeted yesterday. It's March 11th, 2024. The Titans are building to compete this year, and the Commanders are clearly tanking. Like that's what it looked like then, and we saw what happened. One is picking first, and one
Well,
was almost.
the Titans were building to compete in 2024.
That's my point. That's my point. Is that's the way that it looks. Free agency is a funhouse mirror. So and I'm not saying the Titans are AFC
I don't
Championship
think
loaded
that.
for the Titans. I'm not saying that at all. My
I
point
don't agree
is
with that
that
statement,
2 days into free agency, you're making a judgment based on a team that has to rebuild and is choosing to rebuild in this way where they're tearing it down and they're going to be shopping. We knew this, Sam. We knew that they'd be shopping in phase 2 and 3 and 4 of the free agency.
That's
That
not what I'm
hasn't come yet.
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I understand the Titans went for it last year in the offseason and it didn't work. And it was,
Right.
so yes, winning the offseason does not mean you're going to be competitive, but it does matter the intention of the front office. Ram Carthon thought he was putting his team in contention to make the playoffs last year when he made all of those moves. That was the goal of those moves. The Titans' goal is not to do that this year. I think is the objective, hey, we'd like to win some games. We'd rather go 7-10 than 3-14 again. Obviously, that is the goal of every NFL team, is to win more than they lose and do that year over year. But I do not think the actions of the Titans so far or the actions of the Titans over the course of the offseason are going to be reflective of a team whose mission is to win more games this year than they did last year. I think it is more about the long-term betterment of the franchise, about the streamlining of your talent, of getting younger, of getting cheaper, of trying to tear it down to the studs, as we've said, and genuinely start this rebuild, instead of doing this weird half contention thing that Rand did. That is where I think Mike Borgonzi is going here. I think he's told us as much when he says to limit and lower expectations. And so that is where I think this front office is. And that is my point. Do they want to improve? Yes, but improvement looks different to different people.
Yeah, I really don't know what you're saying, man. Because like you keep saying they're not trying. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth.
I think
Mike
Borgonzi is fine with going 4-13 this year. I think that's totally fine with him, because I don't think he's
fine with that at all. No, I don't think he's fine.
I don't think he's putting a ton of pressure on winning. And I think
I mean, your point that their goal is to be better long term and be better sustainably is obviously true. Nobody's debating that. But the idea that that getting better long term doesn't start with getting better this year doesn't make any sense. Their goal is to have a better, more sustainable team on the path to long-term contention starting this
I
year,
agree.
which means a better team than picking first overall and winning 3 games. So getting better this year is a big deal for everybody. It's the NFL. No matter how long you think you have of a leash, it is very important to get better this year, always.
But it is
Always.
not better. It is not more important to get better than it is to be more sustainable. That is my point.
Sure,
If
that's
the
fine.
Titans wanted to, if they wanted to go 7-10 this year, they could. They could easily go 7-10 this year.
What they're doing can easily result in 7-10. I don't know what we're talking about. You put together a bunch of 1 and 2 year deals like the Commanders did last year. You draft a first overall quarterback who has, struggles to start the year. Like what did the Bears do last year with Caleb? I know it's a different roster, but my point is a season like that where it's like it's a struggle, and then you got your rookie quarterback, and you can see the flash by the end of the year. And look, they won 7 games. Optimism going into next year. That's a bajillion% on the board for this Titans team, no matter what they do in free agency.
But the Bears, the Commanders, both of those teams were far more active last offseason than the Titans are going to be this year.
Hard disagree.
The Bears were not more active last year.
No. I'm talking about the Commanders. The Bears were more active. The Bears were. The Commanders, you go day by day in free agency last year, what the Commanders did, it looks identical to what the Titans are doing right now. Now, I'm not, again, everybody's like, oh, Easton, you're annoyingly optimistic that you think the Titans are going to be the Commanders this year. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that's the model. That is the model. We've been told that's the model. I'm not guessing
think it
that.
is.
I know that.
I think it is naive as hell to believe that, like, Mike Borgonzi is coming in here and he's like, all right, let's start winning some games right away. Do you get a new job and be okay with sucking? Yes. When you're a general manager of a football team, it is totally fine because Mike Borgonzi knows that if the Titans go 3-14, he's not getting fired. Brian Callahan's getting fired. He's not getting fired. It allows him to kick the can. It gives him more draft picks. It is totally okay for the Titans to punt a season in Mike Borgonzi's book because he has job security regardless. And it allows him to, kick the can for another year and accrue more assets. So I like the point. Like,
I think Mike Borgonzi would tell you that you're very wrong about this.
What?
This idea that they're just cool with sucking. No, I think in a private conversation he would tell you that. I think that this idea that he is just cool with winning 3 or 4 games is wrong. I think that he would tell you that if we win 3 or 4 games this year, is it the end of the world? No, but hang on. I think he would tell you that if we win 3 or 4 games this year, it's not the end of the world, but it is absolutely not our goal, and that'd be a failure of year one.
I agree with that, Easton. I agree with that.
You don't seem to.
I'm not saying their goal is to come out and go 3-14, but I'm saying if you are a general manager, if you're an organization and going 3-4 wins isn't the end of the world, you are going to operate like it's not the end of the world. And that's exactly what they're doing and what they're going to continue to do.
So what's your point? What's your point?
I'm just saying we need to be prepared for that and stop acting like they're going to make these moves with the goal of like, we're going to get better and go 8-9 or make a push for stuff this year. I don't think that's their goal. Goal is to
for that. Like you started this with saying that I don't think that they're operating. This whole argument started with you saying that they're not operating in free agency like they want to win this year, like they want to get better this year, which on its face is crazy. So what you originally said is not what you're saying now.
No, that is what I've said originally. That's what I'm saying now. Like this idea of wait till after the draft, it'll look better. I don't think it will. I think they'll look younger. I think they will have intriguing, interesting young talent all over. Do I think that will result in more wins and a better roster on the surface than they had in 2024? I don't know.
Did you hear what you just said, though? You just said, I don't think it will look better after the draft. I do think it'll look more intriguing and younger. That's better.
Younger. So that's what I'm saying. That's what my original point was, is that better is relative. Younger and more sustainable is how they define better. More wins and closer to competing is not how they define better. So getting better is getting, for the Titans right now, is getting younger, is getting fresh. It's the idea of, hey, Jack Gibbons, you were okay. You were a decent player, but like we want fresh. We want younger. We want different. And so they're churning it. That is their idea of better right now. And I think that's fine. But I think we also need to know that that is what's happening and not allow ourselves to look at the at the draft and look at these moves and be like, you know what? I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I think 7-10 is in the cards, because I don't think they're putting that earnest on themselves.
Disagree. So whatever you're saying is whatever you're saying. All I'm going to say, my point here is that they are going to be active in free agency. They have a lot of moves they've not made yet. The team is going to look significantly better a month from now than it looks today. 2 months from now, even more so. And they are actually trying to win games this year. That's all I'm saying. So we can move on.
Drink that Kool-Aid, buddy.
Is 7-10 Kool-Aid? Really? Is that what it is? Is it bootlicking to say this team's going to win 7 games? I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it is. Because they're not better, and they went 3-14 with a more competitive
It's
roster.
March 12th. They're not better. It's 2 days into free agency for a team that we knew wouldn't be shopping at the top of free agency. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What? I'm talking about their objectives this year are different than their objectives last year. Less aggressive.
Of course they are. No one's you crazy straw man. No one's arguing that their objectives are the same. Last year they were trying to compete. We know they're not trying to compete this year. 7-10 is not competing.
Okay. I mean, I don't see where
you should know the Bears go 7-10 a lot. That's not competing.
I don't see where a 4-win improvement comes from for a team that is actively not trying to compete and had the worst team in football.
I can tell you where it comes from. You had 3 massive needs at premium positions. You have a way better tackle, and you're about to have a way better quarterback. There are your wins. There's what Vegas moves the number on. You went from Will Levis to Cam Ward. Now you have an actual tackle, and you're going to have an actual edge.
You don't know Cam Ward's going to be better than Will Levis.
The odds are he will be better. The odds are he will be better. How much better? I don't know.
Sure.
But I'm just saying, like, if we're playing the odds here, they're going to be better at edge, tackle, and quarterback.
Where are they better at edge? Where are they better at edge?
Because they're going to draft one. They're going to draft one.
When?
In the second round.
So we're banking on a second-round rookie edge rusher being a significant improvement over what they had last year.
Do you remember who was playing edge last year? Do you remember how that looked? Yes, I mean, the bar is so low.
I remember it wasn't good. The Titans, if the Titans wanted improved play at edge, they would have signed one of these guys that can actually rush the passer instead of sitting it out.
And they may still. We knew they were shopping in the second tier of all these buckets. The second tier is not gone yet. Patience.
We'll see.
Half that list we showed of edge rushers, like the 10, 15 people, half of them are still out there. The guys that we were talking about, that Azeez Ojulari, still out there. That kind of guy. They're probably going to go get one. And then they're going to draft.
Which of these guys then? Which of these guys?
Let's see. So again, Azeez Ojulari.
All of the top 8 guys on that list, 9 guys on that list are gone.
Correct. But when we were doing the pre-free agency discussion, looking at this list, I wasn't listing any of the guys in the top half of that graphic. I don't think you would have if you were here. I know Ryan wasn't.
Golston
Who was
gone,
expecting them to go and get? They're going to get Hassan Reddick, and it's going to be great.
I mean, so unless they sign Matthew Judon or Dante Fowler Jr., you're missing on all of these guys. Golston is gone.
So we know Ojulari is still there. Lawrence is still there. Fowler, Judon, and Gardeck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and do we think
roughly half the list is still there?
How confident are we that one of those guys is better than what you had last year?
Better than what Gerald offered you? I'm pretty confident. Especially when that guy's going to be paired again. Especially when that guy's not going to have to be the one. He's going to be paired with a rookie who's better than him. And again,
you're banking on a second round edge being your edge 1.
Go take a peek at this edge class, man. There are first round caliber edge players that are going to be available at 35. There are.
I think it's really rose-colored glasses for how easy it is to improve in the NFL.
It's not about how easy it is to prove in the NFL. It's about how easy it is to improve when you are 3-14 and the worst team in the league. Again, better is a super relative
4-win improvement is significant, though, Easton.
Okay, 6, 7. Is it though? When the most important position on the team by far improves probably in a significant way.
If the Titans go 5-12 this year, are people going to be sitting here reflecting on the season being like, well, we improved? Like,
It will depend on how it looks, largely around what the quarterback looked like. We know this.
I agree with that, right?
If they went 5-12, but they won 3 of their last 5, and the rookie
if they
turned
go
it on, then folks are going to say, "Great year."
If they go 3-14 again, and Cam Ward looks good as the Titans quarterback, it's a great year.
Well, that's going to require them to lose their first 14 and then figure it out.
Well, I don't know. I'm not talking about losing their last 3, but I'm saying the record doesn't I'm throwing the record out the window in 2025 entirely.
I think what you're trying to say is that the record is less important than the progress, which I agree with. But I'm not with you on this binary idea that the record doesn't matter. That ultimately how many games they win doesn't matter. It does matter.
Why?
Because that's the way that it works in the NFL. Because the NFL is stupid and it's run by stupid rich fans we call owners, and that's what matters to them.
So, but I will say the argument that you just made for the thing that I'm calling stupid is that it's stupid.
Yes, because I'm dealing in reality. That's the way the world works, Sam.
But I don't.
The way that it works.
I am operating as somebody who's trying to not be stupid. And so I'm saying that I don't care about the record and I'm throwing it away and that it's dumb. I don't care.
They have an owner to please and they have tickets to sell and they have a new stadium to pimp. And they've got the coaching staff has jobs to retain, and the front office has the front office, this idea that they have time. We know that they think they have time.
So let me clarify. I think Brian Callahan cares a lot about the record.
Yeah, 100%. We no debate there. Something that I think is going to change pretty quickly in the next 2 months. This again, I'm with everybody that I know because I've had a conversation with them. The front office thinks that they have time. They're being told that they have time, which is good and true. But history tells us that once you draft a quarterback at, I don't know, number 1 overall, your clock starts now. And you don't have as much time however much time you think you have. It's less than that.
I agree with that.
And they know that. They're not dumb. They know that if they're being told you got 3 or 4 years on this, they're probably thinking, okay, so if we draft a rookie quarterback at 1, we'll probably have 1 or 2 years at this.
Yeah, nobody in their right mind, though, is letting your GM draft a quarterback at 1 after you have the worst season and you go 3-14, and then watching them not compete in the first year with that rookie quarterback and is like, you're out of here, right? Like that's craziness. And Mike Borgonzi knows that. He knows that it would be the coaching staff to go before him. I think it is. And again, Dre says, well, winning puts asses in seats. We're not talking about winning. If you were saying that the Titans going 10-7 moves the needle and matters, I would say a 100% does. But 6-11 this year, I don't think moves the needle any more significantly than the progress of the team. You are right about that is what I'm saying. The progress, the youth movement, the ability to streamline and get cheap and get sustainable as a roster is the goal more than the record. And if the record was the goal, if they were trying to do what Joe Schoen needs to do in New York, save his job at all costs by winning games, they'd go get Aaron Rodgers because that's what Joe Schoen's going to do, because that's what he has to do to save his job. But they're not in that spot, and they're not retaining players just for the sake of retaining players because they don't care about the record or the winning. They care about the progress and the long-term vision of the organization. Is that crazy to say? Because I don't think it is.
What you just said is not crazy. And I will leave my end of things at this. I think that if you not you, but the royal you, if folks think that me believing because the Titans are going to improve markedly at the 3 most important positions on their team, quarterback, edge, and linebacker. Gosh, I'm going to start over. If you think that how do I phrase this? This is so confusing. The idea that me saying because they're going to improve at quarterback, tackle, and edge means that they're probably going to win 6 or 7 games is rose-colored glasses thinking, then I don't think you know what rose-colored glasses are. That's my point. I think it is completely reasonable within a very firm realm of possibility that because you got better at the positions you needed to get better at, the most important positions on your team, you're going to win a couple extra games and still be bad. I don't think there's anything rosy about that. I think that's just logic. And I think it's March 12th, and there's a lot of free agency left, and I think a month from now, this conversation will age poorly. We could have had a Commanders background up a year ago, had this exact same conversation about their team, and then looked back on it and laughed when they were in the NFC Championship game. Again, not saying that's what's going to happen to the Titans. My point is, this time of year, not super indicative when it comes to what's going to happen next year. In fact, not really at all indicative of what's going to happen next year, as the Titans demonstrated last year.
I agree with that. Free agency, off-season banners don't matter.
Funhouse mirror.
I'm not gonna. Brent said Sam about to get him. We have to end the conversation. We're going in circles here. I
not where I expected today to go, at all. Didn't think this was going to be where we were headed today. But
I told you that there was kind of something simmering there when we were planning the show today. You brought up a point that I think is. I guess my quick thing for you about that is I would agree with you that if you told me the Titans were significantly improved at edge, significantly improved at quarterback, and significantly improved at tackle, I would say that it is most likely an improved team in a lot of ways and going to win more games.
Okay,
I have less faith than you do that it will be that easy to snap your fingers and improve at those positions. Like you can say what you want about Harold Landry and his ability to affect the passer. He did not affect the passer at all, was not really dominant. He was still a very good run setting edge in a lot of ways. To the
run
point
defender,
where the New England Patriots found him worthy Mike Vrabel bias of a decent contract, right? Like Harold Landry,
a really decent contract.
I don't think it's a given at all that a second round edge rusher is going to be better than Harold Landry was last year as a rookie. I think that's really wishful thinking. And if that is,
I don't think it's a given, but I don't think it's wishful thinking. I think you should go back and watch some of these guys.
Yeah. And if that is the plan of the Titans, I think it's wishful thinking on the Titans' part to think that grabbing an old edge rusher from that list that we just showed without playing at the guys that are actually impacting the quarterback consistently, and then drafting a guy in the second round is going to lead to, oh, we're so much better at this position than we were. I don't know if it works like that. And
I don't know about so much. And I agree with you that it's not a guarantee by any means.
I mean, I think that it's awful at edge, and they might be slightly improved at a position they were awful at. I don't think that leads to many more wins. And so like that is
I think
really
it matters more than you do, but we'll see.
That is where I'm at with like the rose-colored glasses thing is I have more of a cynical view, I suppose, of how difficult it actually is to find good talent. And I think in the same way that you would sit here and say, you brought it up earlier, we all sell ourselves, right? All the time in the off season. I think we can sit here and we'll sell ourselves on whatever edge rusher it is for the Titans in the second round and be like, oh, this is a big boost. And just because the team likes him, we have to like him and we think he's going to be good. I don't think that's a given. I think we've proven that over and over again. So
I think there's a reason why you keep coming back to edge because of those three positions. That's the one that's going to be the hardest to markedly improve, which is fair. But I think that they have already significantly improved at tackle. Significantly.
I agree with that.
I think in a big way. And I think that there's a decent, I think that at worst, they will have improved at quarterback marginally. I think there's a chance that they improve dramatically immediately.
I think there is a chance of that too. I agree on the tackles. I'm pessimistic.
And so even if let's say edge is a wash. And it's like, oh well. But they get way better at tackle and way better at quarterback. They're still winning more games.
I think they're probably slightly better at quarterback or decently better at quarterback, very much improved at tackle, maybe worse or a wash at edge. But I think you got worse at receiver. I think you are worse in that regard. I think you are potentially worse at safety. I think you were, I think that is a real possibility from what you had. And so I think,
But how much worse? Like, it's marginal.
Yeah, it's marginal, but this is all marginal. The point is, again, another point that I would make is that if it's all marginal,
give me the final point.
Well, if it's all marginal and we're talking marginal improvement here, marginal thing here, then it's not all marginal. Suck.
No, it's not all. No, that's my point. Is that at tackle and quarterback and potentially edge, it's not going to be marginal. That's my point.
If I gave you over under 5.5 for the Titans right now win total, what would you take?
I would put significant money on the over.
Really? What about 6.5?
I'd put less money on the over. I'd put a lot less money on the over.
But
It's like just play the numbers. You know how many teams go under 5.5 every year? Not many. It's hard. It's hard to do. So just odds are they're going to win more games than that. You can back into 5 wins in the NFL. Like you just win a couple games you shouldn't have won. You know the Titans last year. Not only were they a bad team, they also had one of the worst one-score game figures in the league, which we know is a not a sticky statistic. That's something that fluctuates. There's a lot of luck involved in one-score games. Like you get a little one-score luck, and you win 5 games because you're ass backward into it. Like that happens in the NFL. We see teams do it all the time.
If you gave me 6.5, I would hammer the under. And I hope for the sake of all of you watching that I would be wrong about that. But I would.
Everyone watching, write this down. I'm not saying you're gonna. This is not necessarily a gotcha, but take that clip in your mind. Let's revisit maybe once a month. I'll be curious come August if Sam is saying hammer to the under on 6.5. I would bet significant money that's not your take.
It will. Yeah, I think it will be still. I mean, let's see real quick.
Don't forget this, chat. Don't forget this.
Do we think there is a line out right now?
Oh yeah, there are lines already. They're probably not very good.
Well, I'm curious to see what the NFL 2025 win total lines. Let's see where they have them at right now.
It's probably 5.5.
Vegas Insider has the Tennessee Titans at 5.5. Yep.
Makes sense.
So point for the.
I'm not one to lock up significant money in a bet today that's not going to cash for another 9 months, but I am in spirit taking the over.
All right. I don't know what I would take on 5.5. That's a good line.
So you think they're going to win 5 exactly then? Because it's 6.5. You're hammering the under.
I think they absolutely won't win more than 6. I think they could get to 6, so it makes the line a little bit more questionable at 5.5.
Okay. You want to do some trivia?
Yeah, I gotta get some ad reads here first because we completely botched those. The Bone and Joint Institute, we can get there. The Bone and Joint Institute is the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. boneandjointtn.org. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust, and the Bone and Joint Institute is the place to do it, located in Franklin with over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help you in your recovery. They can do it all under one roof for your convenience. Clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, rehab. Schedule your appointment with them at boneandjointtn.org.
Hey, before we go on this wild and wacky episode, hit us up with one of those likes on Facebook, on YouTube. Just like the show real quick on the way out and lock in the chat because we got some trivia coming up.
Yes, we do. We do have trivia coming up. It is a Wednesday sports trivia and other trivia coming at you here on A to Z Sports. And it's brought to you by Wilson County Hyundai. Make Wilson County Hyundai a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon, or go to wilsoncountyhyundai.com. Easton, who's trivia master today? You or I? Do I need to pull it up?
I can do it.
Okay.
I can do it. I got it pulled up.
You go ahead, pull it up. Let me know when you are ready. We'll make that transition. Let's see. Do we have a trivia graphic here, you and me? Yes, we do. All right.
We should.
I'm ready when you are.
Let me share my screen. And I am ready.
All right, let's go.
That's cool.
Nice transition there. Trivia. We do have MLB on the board, which I'm liking early. We'll start with NFL. We'll go around the horn. We'll end with celebrity mashup. Chat, lock it in. Let's go.
NFL. After totaling over 4,200 rushing yards for the Chargers, this running back signed with the Broncos in 2020.
Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon.
Wait, time out. We might need to slow down. We got a complaint a couple weeks ago about not letting the chat play. So we might need to just go slow and see what the chat thinks here.
All right. In 1946, Syngman Rhee became the first president of this country. I know it. Do you know it?
I don't know it off the top of my head.
I am pretty sure this is North Korea.
Syngman Rhee doesn't sound super Korean. But Hang on.
North Korea.
Hang
But
on.
we'll see if the
They don't
chat-
have a. They don't. There's South Korea. They don't have a president in North Korea.
I'm telling you, well, maybe
Matt
it is.
says
Yeah,
South
I know
Korea.
it's.
They would.
I'm
They
pretty
do
sure
not
it's
have
South
a.
Korea.
If it's a.
Okay,
They do have
okay,
a president in South Korea.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm confident it's a Korea. Maybe I'm wrong about the Korea. We'll lock it in with South.
All right. Anthony said yes. South Korea. Anthony says don't slow down for the chat. Just go. Let's let it rip.
There we go. All right. This quiz game, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Jeff
Debuted in
Foxworthy.
07 with that's Jeff Foxworthy.
My guy. It was a great show. Great show.
Love a little Jeff Foxworthy. After the original Matrix trilogy, the Wachowskis directed this 2008 sports action comedy adapted from a Japanese anime manga that starred Emil Hirsch and Christina Ricci. I don't know.
2008 sports action comedy adapted from a.
As people know, I don't watch sports movies.
I don't have this one at all.
Titans Kyle says Jeff Foxworthy is his father-in-law. Is that true?
Oh, Speed Racer.
Okay, that's the right timeline.
I've seen that movie. That checks out. Speed Racer.
Sports action comedy? Okay, there we go. Along with being the lead vocalist of the band Hole, the singer was notably married to Kurt Cobain. Ooh. Titans Kyle, is Foxworthy really your
Courtney
father?
Love?
Are you confident about that?
No.
Okay. Anybody know the...
Yes.
Okay, people are saying Courtney. All right. Beverages. A regional favorite, Big Red Soda, was created in what U.S. state in 1937? Like I would know. Not here.
Big Red Soda?
I know of the soda. I've never had this soda.
I've never heard of this before.
Yeah, it's in grocery stores around here, but it's not common.
So is it
Tennessee?
It has to
no
be
way it's Tennessee. Texas. Okay. Big
That
Red, that makes sense for Texas. Yep. MLB, Kevin, whatever that is, had three straight seasons.
Kuzmanoff.
Sure. With 3 straight seasons over 70 RBIs for this National League team in 07.
I believe this is the Rockies. Or actually, hang on.
Storied franchise.
Hang on.
Hanging on.
San Diego. He was a Rocky later. He was a Rocky in 2010.
Locking it in?
Yeah.
Nice. After winning most outstanding player for the 15 NCAA tourney, Tyus Jones got drafted by this Western Conference team and played till 19.
Timberwolves.
I was about to say. Pretty sure Minnesota. And the celeb mashup. Ooh. Is that Kevin Jonas?
It's Paul Mescal on the outside. Zoom in there if you can.
Let's get a little zoom.
That looks like Paul Mescal to me. Oh, wait. Maybe not.
I think it's Kevin Jonas.
First.
Go away.
I think it's Paul Mescal, actually. I don't know. That's hard.
Who you siding with? Stupid.
Here, zoom in on the face too. I gotta see if I can.
I try, but it won't let me.
Oh, all right. Well, just pull it up then. Let me see if I can. Who is that?
People are saying it's Jonas. I'm pretty sure it's Kevin Jonas. I don't know who the inside person. Actually, I feel like I do know the inside person.
Kevin Jonas is what they think. Kit Harington.
No, it's not Kit. He doesn't have an earring.
Jonas, is it Nick Jonas, not Kevin Jonas?
No, I'm sure it's not Nick.
Okay.
Nick doesn't have that kind of facial hair like that.
The girl in the
middle. It is an SNL lady. It's not
ScarJo.
No.
You think that's an SNL lady?
Yeah, she's a cast member. Oh man. You're 100% right. Who is this person? What's Hillary?
No, I think I know who you're thinking of. I don't think it's her.
I think it is her. Chat. It's not Scarlett Johansson. That's for sure.
I don't think it's Scarlett Johansson either. I don't think you're thinking of the girl that was in Barbie, but I don't think that's her.
No. No. I'm not thinking about her. No, I know who you're talking about. Not that person. Yeah, Kristen Wiig.
That's not Kristen Wiig.
It's Kristen Wiig. It 100% is.
You think? That doesn't look like Kristen Wiig to me at all.
It's Wiig Giga, right?
The zig. I agree with Joshua. The lack of zoom here is killing us.
All right, let me get you real close here, folks.
Yeah, there we go. See, that's much improved.
Now you see it's Kristen Wiig.
I still don't think Felicity Jones. I think it could be Felicity Jones.
Okay, my only guess that I'm gonna have is Kristen Wiig. I might be wrong, but that's who I think it is. Chat.
Okay, I don't think it's Kristen Wiig, but sure, let's go. Go for
the
it.
chat
Go
is
for it.
as divided on Wiig as you and I are. I don't
We-
have a
we-
better answer.
I think it's absolutely not Kristen Wiig, but I also don't think it's Kevin Jonas, but we'll
All
try.
right, well then this is 100% an Easton special. He's either super wrong.
I would go with Felicity Jones and Paul Mescal personally, but
I'm gonna take a shot on Kristen Wiig.
yep, go for it.
Is Kristen Wiig not an option here? What's happening? Stupid Zoom.
There
Yes.
it is.
Oh, it's double I. Damn it! All right.
Yes, double
Any
dip.
better guesses?
Try my double. Paul Mescal and Felicity Jones.
I'm gonna lose it if you're right. Who even is Felicity Jones?
Oh,
okay. Who was it?
Was it a combo of it? Check it out.
See
who it was.
Answers. Oh, Aaron Taylor Johnson. We were never even on that guy. So it was Felicity Jones.
It was Felicity Jones. Okay,
so you get a half point, and then we were never even close to Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. I don't know who that is.
I know he's been in. Actually, is he the new James Bond? Actually,
let me look.
I think he's the new James Bond.
Aaron Taylor
he was
Johnson
in that bad Marvel movie that they just did, Kraven the Hunter. I think
he Kraven the Hunter is what he was in. He's in Nosferatu, which
That's
is
right.
a big movie this year as well. Apparently,
great movie.
I have not seen either one of those movies, and I don't think I've ever seen this man in my life.
I am pretty sure Aaron Taylor Johnson is the guy that is the leader in the pack for the new Bond. So,
yeah,
tough.
Okay, I'm unfamiliar with Aaron Taylor Johnson's game, but
bounce back tomorrow. Give it another shot.
Hopefully. Not a bad effort overall, though.
Well, we were in good shape until the
let me get this
celebrity.
There we go.
Match,
yeah,
they
and I guess tomorrow we'll set out and we'll go for speed all the way through because it was little. I was getting last time I did trivia, we got yelled at because Austin and I went a little too
really.
Quick. Yeah,
you know what? The chat is there for when we get stumped, not for when we know it.
Today's chat,
we know it. We're not waiting on the chat to catch up.
Chat was
That's
solid,
not how it works.
Today's chat was nice and engaging. They were all over the trivia. They were rooting for us to go quick. They're good chat today.
Did we have any super chats we didn't get to? Thanks for the money, Brendan.
And
Kendall wanting people to lock in. Yeah, on the way out, leave a like, folks.
Bump, leave a like. Kendall, we're not locked in. Easton and I were locked in. We hit Supreme Debate today. So when you hit Supreme Debate, that's deserving of a lot of likes. So
it's a real first take episode this morning.
Hey, you got to have them every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Leave a like on the show before we go. Keep it locked on A to Z Sports. Easton and I with written content all about the Titans and the free agency moves that are going down. We'll be back tomorrow morning with another morning show for you guys to maybe reach Supreme Debate again. We'll see. We'll talk more Titans tomorrow morning. We'll see you then. Till then, tighten up. See you later.